Good? Okay. Good evening. Welcome. It is April 20th, 2021, and we are convened as the Provo City School Board of Education. It is 7 o'clock, and we will start with a roll call. And we'll start with Nate.
Nate Bryson, School Board.
Terry McCabe, Board Member.
McKay Jensen, Board Member.
Keith Ertel, Superintendent.
Melanie Hall, Board President.
Rebecca Nielsen, Board Vice President.
Jennifer Partridge, Board Member.
Gina Hales, Board Member.
Stephanie Bryant, Business Administrator.
All right, we will have our opening remarks by Member Nate Bryson.
Okay, I just would like to open this with a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity we have today to discuss the issues of the school board. Please bless that thy hand guides our decisions, and that we make the decisions that are best for this community. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. All right, next we'll be having the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we know? Doug?
Please stand with me and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug Finch, for filling in for us. Next, we're going to turn the time over to Deputy Superintendent Jason Cox for the Provo Way Awards.
Good evening. Thank you so much for this opportunity we have to recognize these employees. We have, again, a great group that we get to congratulate and thank for the work and effort that they have of helping our students day to day. When I call your name, please stand. We have Joe Rankin, Kathy Hansen, Alex Judd, Connie Stone, and Megan Dunnigan receiving the award tonight. We have a video of our presentation with them. Again, I'm really grateful that this is kind of a sunshiny part of my month to be able to go out and recognize these employees. So join with us as we see them, and afterwards we want to give the board a chance to thank them, so we'll ask you to come on up. But let's go ahead and watch the video.
Good morning, Provo. This is the Celebrations Committee, and we're at the district office this morning. We're very excited because we actually have 3 awards that we're going to give away. First, we're going to hit Joe Rankin, and then we're going to sneak into another meeting and give an award to Kathy Hansen. Alex Judd will be in that meeting, and he is the one who nominated her. He doesn't know, but we've also gotten a nomination for him, and so we're going to turn around and give him the award right after this. So follow us down this hallway.
On behalf of the board, we want to thank you for all that you do here. You're such an important part of the business office and of our district, and anybody who mentions your name just has a smile on your face and is so grateful for you. So thank you for all that you do.
But I've come to believe that special ed is his favorite department. But a few weeks ago, I noticed him working with other people, and he was just as calm and listening and doing all great things for them. Then I began to kind of question that. But I'm still going to go with the fact that we're his favorite. But honestly, Joe, what really stands out in my mind, what you do for our department and every other department here, really I think is a reflection of the business department as well, is that yes, we have challenges when it comes to looking at our financial needs and trying to make services happen, but you always keep at the forefront the kids that we're working with. We really appreciate that. And you also keep at the forefront of how you can help us. You're a great service to us and to the district, and congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, Provo, stick with us. We're heading down the hall where we're going to catch Kathy Hansen in a Zoom meeting.
you for all that you do for our district. I've been working with Alex for a few years on kindness, and he just keeps mentioning your name and PBIS and all the good things that you do to support our schools with that. So we're so grateful, and we'll be recognizing you at our next board meeting.
Well, Kathy, I think the best part about this is that you're just genuine in who you are. And without you, we couldn't do this work. This makes all the difference in the world for kids that need it the most. And I don't know how much you make an impact on just the kids as much as you make a massive impact on adults in the buildings. The principals love you, the teachers adore you, and you are a genuine master educator. And I just want you to hear from us how much we love and appreciate and adore all that you do. Sorry you're going through some hard times, but we think the world of you. So thanks for all you do.
On to the next winner. We've got to travel all the way over here. Mr. Alex Judge, please come over here. Oh my God. You are also getting the Provo Way Award.
Alex, you are so deserving of this award. When I think about all that you're involved with our safe routes, with supporting our elementary schools, with so many trust lands, I mean, just your list, I don't know when you sleep, when you spend time with your family, but I'm sure that you're just amazing at everything that you do. And we just appreciate just all the good that you bring to our district and to our schools. So thank you so much.
Alex has stepped up in such a huge way when it comes to organizing and making sure that these kids are getting to school safely. And we just really appreciate everything that he's done and are grateful for this partnership that we have. So thank you very much.
Good morning and welcome to Canyon Crest Elementary. The celebration committee is here to celebrate a wonderful teacher, Connie Stone, and her classroom is right in there. And we're giving you fair warning. A leprechaun has been running through the building and they're a little hyper. So let's go and just make it even more fun. Follow me.
Hey, Shen. We want to say congratulations. We're giving you the Provo Way Award. We've heard so much how wonderful you've been, and Christine here is the one who nominated you. I just wanted to say that you're the best teacher that I've ever come in contact with. You are so caring, and your students adore you, and you invest so much in them. And I could cry, like, you are just really amazing. You changed my life as a teacher and as a parent, and I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry the kids are so excited about the leprechaun. They like it. They like it. You're right. Everybody look at the picture.
Well, good morning and welcome to Grandview. We're also here at E-School. We're here to recognize another one of our outstanding employees with the Provo Way Award. We're going to go inside and award Megan Dunnigan for her work here at E-School. Come on in.
Congratulations on receiving the Provo Way Award.
Thank you.
And for your presentation you did, that was awesome. You did
thank you.
At our last board meeting, so thank you so much for that.
Megan is great to work with. She's probably one of the hardest workers I've worked with in the district, and she's very proud of this program. I think all three of us are. We're working really hard to make it work for our Provo kids, and we congratulate her because she's just on top of things and is very capable of making things work here. So.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That's very kind. Thank you all.
Now let's give them another round of applause. We'd like to give the board the opportunity to thank each one of them individually. So we'll have you come up here and just make your way along the front. Be careful, there is a cord, but we'd love to have you come up and let them thank you for your work.
Thank you so much for everything you do for the district. We're so glad to have you in our district. Thank you. You're the best.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Great job.
You're the best.
Congratulations.
Why not?
Of course, all the way through.
Thank you, Alex.
I want the other elbow. He lost without you, boss.
Thank you, Alex.
Nice job, no COVID.
Thank you, Jason, for putting that together. It's always one of the highlights of this meeting, so I appreciate it. So, next we're going to switch. We're going to do item C first, and then we'll go to item B after that. So I'm going to turn the time over to Michelle Eldridge for a recognition.
Good evening. I'm happy to be with you tonight. I get to talk to you twice tonight. I'm smiling behind my mask, I promise. First, we're going to talk about the effective teachers in high poverty. So will you guys do the other slide presentation? Thank you. I did put this, or send this to Stephanie to be put in your board packet so you had a little background information on this. This is a state rule 277. It is an award that can be given to teachers in high poverty schools whose students show growth on end of year assessments. There is a brief summary. I forgot my clicker. I will go get it next time. Will you click one click for me? Thank you. So just so you know who qualifies for this award, the qualifying schools in our district are most impacted: Franklin, Spring Creek, and Timpanogos. So teachers from those three schools can qualify. The schools have to have 20% of the students affected by intergenerational poverty, or 70% are classified as free and reduced lunch. So those are the three schools who qualify. Grades 4 through 12 in our district, it would be 4 through 6 are eligible. Students have to have a prior year assessment in order to qualify, which is why third graders don't qualify. They also take an end of level assessment, but they don't have prior data. So 4th through 6th in our district, and the most exciting thing to me about this is that it's all about growth. So the teachers who receive this incentive have had the students in their class, and they're being compared to what they started with and what they ended with in that class, not a comparison to years prior. So that's a really great thing, that the new accountability system is very focused on growth, which is a great thing for teachers and for students. The qualifying teachers must remain in the Title I school where they work in order to get the incentive in the years prior. So the state wrote this as an incentive to keep teachers in highly impacted schools. That's where this is coming from. So teachers receiving this still have to work in the school. The teachers who receive this can have a total of up to $5,000. Every year that amount changes depending on how many teachers in the state qualify and how much funding actually does get allotted from the legislatures for this. So this year's award is $4,147 based off of FY 18-19 assessment data. So I'm going to go ahead and say their names, their pictures will come up, and then we actually do have their checks for them here tonight. So after I finish, just like before, if you'll come on up. This is a really fun this is a really fun thing for me to get to tell them before they come to this meeting, and I really do look forward to this. It's exciting to let them know that because of the hard work their students made growth that they're being recognized for. So with that said, our first recipient is Teresa Tovar from Timpanogos. Teresa teaches 6th grade and received this for her math. This is her 2nd year receiving this award. Our next teacher is Michelle Blair from she's received it for 4th grade math, and she also is a 2-year recipient of this award. And then we have Lisa Bringhurst, and she teaches 6th grade. Actually both in math and science, and this is her 3rd time receiving this award. And next is Lori Hansen, also at Spring grade for 2 content areas, math and language arts, and also her 3rd time receiving this. Heidi Isaacson, another Spring Creek, 6th grade math, and also her 3rd time. And Linda Rossiter, Spring Creek, 4th grade and math, and this is her 2nd time receiving this award. And Allie Stewart from Spring Creek, content areas, math and language arts, and her 3rd time receiving this. And I think that's our last one. Yeah? Okay. Obviously, there's a big, obvious Spring Creek. recognition here. Again, that growth indicator, as you all are aware, Spring Creek's growth is really to be commended this last couple of years. So, and Timpanogos, yay. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yes, fabulous work. Thank you so much. Thank you. And congrats.
Good job.
Thank you so much.
Great work.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Sounds like you guys are tight.
Thanks so much.
Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Great job.
Congrats
Good job.
to you.
Congratulations. So happy.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Way to go.
Congratulations.
So great.
Good job.
Thanks so much.
Well, I can just say that we have excellent teachers in our school district, and we are very proud of you, so thank you very much. So, next, we'll turn it back over to Michelle Eldridge again.
Okay, I get to be your school report this month. Probably is a little more fun to hear from the schools than a federal programs department, but hopefully I can spark your night up tonight. I'm glad to be here and represent Title I and Title III. I want to start off by letting you know just a little bit about me. I've worked in Provo School District for 27 years now. I love working in Provo. I've been a teacher and administrator. I was a liaison as CFA for a couple of years between our BYU practicum students and have done this job in the district for the past 7 years. I've been in 3 schools in the district as a teacher and administrator. I love Provo. I love all of our schools, and I really have a passion for working with students, all students. But my educational passion came long ago in the classroom with working with students and truly believing that all students can learn at high levels, and really believe in putting my skills and talents to helping students who are our most vulnerable students and the students who have specific and various needs, which I know all of our students do. My passion came with helping EL students and students in our Title I populations. And I love Provo. I love working in Provo School District, and I'm happy to be here with you tonight. So just wanted to start off by saying that. And hopefully my shaking hands don't mess the clicker up. I wanted to let you know that my department is Title I and Title III, both federal programs. And our philosophy in our department quickly became, we are at your service. So for many, many years prior to my time in this position, sometimes it felt like departments maybe worked in isolation, and if you were a Title I school, you got extra things because of the money that came with that. And I quickly learned that for me, that wasn't enough, that we had kids in all of our schools that needed those same services. So I try my best to help, even if you don't qualify. I'm going to find a way to help at the schools, and all of the schools who maybe don't qualify the way that the federal government defines certain regulations. And I really try to do that. And those that I work with, encourage them often that if someone rings our doorbell, we're going to find a way to help them, and we're going to answer it for everyone. So that is really our mindset as we work together in our department. Just starting with a really brief overview of Title I for those of you maybe not as familiar. We do have a district website, both Title I and Title III. They're both currently under construction, so if you're clicking right now, we're working on a couple of things. Title I is part of the ESSA Act. It is one of the largest pieces of that act. It's been around since the early 1960s and revised a few times. In short, it's for students, funding goes to students and schools in economically disadvantaged populations. It is a very large misconception that funding goes to schools who are low performing. It has nothing to do with performance. It is totally about economically disadvantaged. In Provo, we have 7 school-wide Title I schools. There are 2 kinds of schools that could be. We could have target assist in school-wide, In Provo, we have school-wide. You can see the 7 schools listed there in our district that are funded and have programs for with Title I services. With Title I, obviously, you probably all know lots of federal regulations and lots of rules, lots of compliance and things that have to be done. We try in our department to take those have-tos and make them feel not as burdensome to the schools and focus on why we do those, and that is helping children. School plans are connected to this and lots of other things that the schools work on. I wanted to let you know that I work with some great people in our department. We have a compliance coordinator who couldn't be here tonight. Her name is Ariela Sheminat, and she makes sure all of our things are collected and ready to submit on time to the state and to the federal government. And then I work directly with all the schools have a Title I coordinator. I support them in all the things they have to do and get to do. And there's just a list of those things in this presentation. So they attend monthly professional development with me, where we assist in their school plans, looking at their student data. A lot of it looks compliance related, but again, we try to make it really the purpose of being to help children. So those are live links there to their school plans. We have parent compact and involvement policies that we have to write. Their job is to lead all the interventions in the school, to lead parent and family engagement, and assist with preschool screening and placement. So my job is to help them do their job. So I wanted their faces up here because really their faces are the ones who lead all of the work at the Title I schools, and they do such a great job. So I wanted to let you know that. The second part of my job is Title III, and it's one of the least funded areas that we have in our district and throughout the state really, but the one with the most compliance. This is the one that's directly tied to civil rights, and we have to ensure we are identifying students correctly. The purpose of Title III is to ensure English proficiency. It's heavily regulated by the Office of Civil Rights, and then there are certain ways we are only allowed to spend the money. So professional development, language acquisition services, and parent and family engagement. So my job is to make sure we're compliant, but also help the schools fund their programs for their students in those 3 areas. So there's just a brief overview of the 2 programs. I wanted to give you just a picture of EL students in Provo School District, and quickly with a definition of what an EL student is. So by definition, a student may be identified if there is another native language fluently spoken in the home, and the student, through assessment and parent survey, indicates the need to have academic support in listening, speaking, reading, and writing, or writing, I should say, English. So some examples that may not stick out in that definition, we have a little girl at an elementary school on the east side whose both parents are deaf, and she is an English language student because her learning to sign has affected her ability to listen, speak, read, and write the English language, not all of those things. So we have some very interesting EL students that you wouldn't typically think, and then we have, of course, those that maybe are more typical. I put in here just for your reference to see numbers, what it looks like across the district. Our district overall seems low at 19%, but we have a school, you can see Spring Creek at 46% EL, and then we have Canyon Crest at 9%. I will tell you, when I first started 7 years ago, Canyon Crest was 2%. So Canyon Crest has felt some impact in the last couple of years. The rest of the schools are about where they normally have been. And I think it's important to differentiate EL from ethnicity. So I just showed you of those EL students that you see, that's the breakdown of their ethnicity. So in Provo, the majority of those are Hispanic. Most of our Hispanic students are 2nd and 3rd generation children. Most are not coming brand new to the country. So just as a point of reference. And then you can see some of the languages that we have. We had this week a family, this week we've had a family move from Belgium and 2 from Peru and 1 from Russia. It's fascinating since January. The new to the country children we've had enroll in our schools. It's been much higher than it has in past years. We're averaging about 8 new to the country than the past 4 months or so. So there's just a brief overview of kind of what EL looks like in Provo. I also wanted to let you know, organizationally, we have a similar structure as we do with Title I. Every school K-12 has an EL supervisor who I work directly with on, of course, ensuring compliance and that we're doing the things that were required by the federal government, but most importantly, meeting the needs of the students. So goal setting, support services, curriculum, instruction. The two most important things really that they do are ensure we're identifying students the right way and support teachers in the classroom with strategies and curriculum and instruction. So professional development is a huge piece of what I work on with them. And then the third, I said two, but really third is parent and family engagement. So we do some specific things for parents and families of students who are EL. And I didn't put all their pictures on here because there was too many, but I just wanted their names recognized as key players in everything that's happening in the district. This is a key line of communication for parents in the schools. All EL communication comes from this key person, so that's really helped with communication in the schools. The parents know who they have to go to if they're not sure if it's a classroom teacher. They have a supervisor or an admin type person. In secondary, it is the EL teacher in coordination with the school administrator. They attend monthly meetings with me where we do lots of professional development and talk about support services and strategies mostly for their teachers. So that's our structure of our Title III department. I wanted to let you know just a little bit about funding. So when I first started, we just had Title I and Title III funds. Title I was about $1 million more than it is currently. Title I funding actually comes from local census data in cities and states, not free and reduced lunch. Districts allocate based on that. So depending how the economy goes, depends on how our Title I funds roll. So we will see probably a bigger impact in Title I funds 2 years from now. We're always 2 years behind what the economy is. Our Title III funds have increased in the last 7 years about $50,000. So that number has increased as well. We now also receive immigrant funds. Immigrant are part of Title III. An immigrant student is a student who has recently, or within 3 years, moved to the United States and had less than 3 years of US education. I also use part of EARS funding to help with EL, which is our at-risk funding, working with student services. This year we received several other grants to fund different projects. EL software, you all approved that a couple of weeks ago. Reading difficulties is a grant I work on, helped write and work on with teaching and learning. I got this year, you just approved tonight, an intervention Title I increase. We received an $80,000 increase for that grant I've proposed. Oral translation grant. Gina, I heard you earlier in the meeting ask about translation at board meetings. That happened at those community meetings last year. I just wanted to let you know. We have headsets and translators available at those meetings. This grant funded every school to have access to those and also to pay people to help at translation at conferences and other activities. And then we also just got another grant to help ELs with summer learning loss. And then we have a little tiny bit of tuition that comes in for our preschool program. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I really wanted to talk to you mostly tonight about the collaboration that my department does with all other departments in Provo. I get the privilege, you can see just based on that background knowledge, a little bit of everything Title I and Title III is part of. I get to work with some great people in the district, and I couldn't do my job without these departments and people. So first of all, student services. We collaborate on parent and family engagement, online enrollment specifically for EL students, and I work with eSchool on their EL students. There's other things I do with that department too, but those were probably the three biggest. With special education, I collaborate with them on preschool. We have a Title I preschool. There's Sunrise Preschool for special education students, so we collaborate on different projects, and they were part of writing the Reading Difficulties grant, which helped fund our Tier 2 intervention system. I also work with teaching and learning significantly on many projects, most recently the Seal of Biliteracy. Again, the MTSS support. I work with them on the Utah Early Literacy Plan, the Reading Difficulties Grant, and then serve as part of the District Literacy Committee. And then last of all, working with elementary and secondary leaders, specifically with high school on their English learner identification and high school graduation of ELs and support, and then summer school. So it's really important to me to work with all of them so that we all align to what the district vision and goals are. And I just wanted to end with a few key things that are going on from our department. The first would be parent and family engagement and collaboration. We meet regularly as a department with student services. We have monthly professional development for all of our Title I coordinators and EL supervisors, where we talk about plans and what they're doing to engage their families in the learning of their children. There's some examples in here that are most recent. I'm sure you all saw the Timpanogos home reading program that was developed in one of these parent engagement meetings. It has since spread like wildfire, and I think I have 6 other schools requesting money to start this program this summer, which I'm really excited about. And then we also have a fun program going on at at Provo Peaks, where they are starting a parent engagement team to look at their specific needs. And then we're looking forward to next year starting some preschool parenting classes that would go across the district, not just be at our Title I schools. I can't not talk about preschool. Rebecca, you're a soul sister in this with me. Preschool can be, Title I can fund preschool. We choose to use some of our money to fund preschool at our Title I schools. We ask a tuition, it's very minimal, $20 a month, but really Title I funds the preschool. It's located at 4 schools, but it feeds all 7 of our Title I schools. So they're paired up. Sunset View houses the preschool, but they're paired with Amelia. Franklin has their own. Spring Creek is paired with Provost, and Provo Peaks is paired with Timpanogos. We typically see about 300 or more parents interested in preschool. This has been a non-typical year, so I've done a more typical, at least 300. We had 2 years ago over 500 interested in preschool. We have room for 144. By the time that's all trickled out, we usually sit at over 50 on a wait list at any time for placement. So when we have move in and out, we have a lot to pull from. And our success is quite good. Our students come in very low. We have to serve the most needed students, and need can be defined however we see need. So we use academic data as well as parent survey and information the school might have on a family's needs. So it's not just academic focused. It can be other things that we define as a need for students. Our preschool program is amazing, and if you ever need some good, happy therapy, go sit in a preschool classroom. The next project that is really exciting that we've been working on for 5 years now is our reading interventions. This is in collaboration with Teaching and Learning and Special Education. We've written 2 grants to fund this program. The first grant was in 2017. That came up, we were able to apply again in FY20, and we were the only district in the state to be awarded that the second time. And I really am proud to say Provo's model is what is recommended to be used across the state as any other district looks at implementing interventions in the elementary school for reading specifically. I didn't do this by myself, so I need that to be on record. This was created by all those people I showed you before, and in hand with Teaching and Learning and the curriculum specialists in that department. We were able to hire a curriculum coach, and it started with about 4 schools. It's now at all 13 elementary schools. They all have all of these resources, support, and ongoing professional development that we do every month with them. So we're really excited about helping students with reading. There's some evidence of the growth that we're seeing over time. In short, green is good. Our students are meeting the end of level state expectations of growth again, 60%, making typical or better progress. I separated the green from the blue because we don't have end of year data from FY20, obviously, and we're currently in the middle of the year. So I wanted you to see where we were, and then probably because of COVID, what we're seeing. I will say that we did receive some information at a meeting just a month ago that we are one of the very few in the state who've currently met this year the growth goal. So our team was really, really, really excited about that, and I think that speaks to the work the teachers are doing. Interventions are working, and our system is working when we have the kids in our schools. So I was really excited for schools and teachers for that. And then the last thing is our English learner program. Our model of identification, the curriculum and professional development plan, and English language language supervisor in every school is a model that's replicated throughout the state. I work with I answer a lot of questions from other districts across the state on how we fund and how we allocate resources and how we're able to get in resources in teachers' hands. So we are seeing some great growth in both our K through 8 and 9th through 12th. You all know that Spring Creek and Provo High this year were recognized by the state office for their high growth of their EL population in a low-income school. So we're really excited about the trajectory that we see for our English language learners in really our entire system. That's all I have. So that's just kind of a quick summary. Probably wasn't quick enough, but any questions that any of you have about our programs?
Go ahead, Gina.
First of all, thank you. My daughter attends Timpanogos and loves I forgot the name of the program, the books.
The family reading program.
Reading program. It's been fantastic.
I didn't do it.
Well, it's been fantastic.
Helps them with the
Your
money.
team has done a great job with that. We very much appreciate the programs that are there at the school. As I was looking over materials, I saw something about intergenerational poverty, and I was wondering how you measure intergenerational poverty.
So I don't want to give you the incorrect definition, but it's 3 years, I believe, at least, of having income below what the government sets as
3 years?
I think it's 3 years. I'll have to email you.
That's okay.
I don't want to
give
you the wrong definition.
I just want a general
It's
idea.
defined actually by the government. It's a
Okay.
definition that comes from, I believe, the Department of Workforce Services.
Okay.
So long time.
Okay.
No, it's not 3 years. 3 generations. Excuse me.
I was going to say 3 years.
3 generations of low income status.
And how do you know do the
The Department of Workforce Services measures all of that with income. Yeah. So we just get the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your work.
You're welcome.
Rebecca, you were right. The preschool portion caught my eye. So I am curious about your preschool parenting class or program, or I'm just interested in knowing a little bit more.
So 2 years ago, we started a monthly, the old words for it were make it, take it, but they're little preschool activities and games. We provide the manipulatives and the reinforcement activity. So we aligned it to every month the preschools across the district have one reading, a writing, and a math essential that all students should master. So the activity for home matches that essential. So we hosted an after school, parents would stay or come before school. They'd learn how to play the game and activity, see it used in the classroom, and then they got to take that home. So they, by the end of the year, had a game box of every essential for reading, writing, and math. That started 2 years ago. We're in our 3rd year of it. Now schools do it on their own. I was leading it all and doing it all, and now are on their own. I fund it still, but on their own they do it. So same model. Next year we're looking to expand that across the district. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer?
The support you give for English language learners, is that mostly supporting classroom teachers to know how to help them, or are there paraprofessionals that are in there helping? What does that look like?
So yes to all of that. I'm not sure if I can go back. Can you guys click on the little link that says program supports right there for me? So Jennifer, every school creates their own plan every year with I'd use the word approved things, meaning my office can support them on those things. So you can see this list right here, the instructional strategies we support, SIOP, sheltered instruction. There is some pull-out, there's integrated support, and then we have elementary programs and secondary programs. So lots of programs to support our English language learners. And then my job is I work individually with every single school to find out what do your kids need, what materials do you need, what training do your teachers need. Really, because so at that monthly training we do like a big everybody, here's some training, and then we spend the last part going, how does this work for you and you and you? Obviously at Canyon Crest when there's 20 EL kids, that looks very different than at Spring Creek where there's 200 of those students. So this is our list and it looks different everywhere. So there's some pullout, there's lots of teacher training. There is a required 20 minutes a month of EL professional development for every teacher in the district. So we monitor that. So my meeting is the training of here's a suggestion that you could use at your school. And we differentiate those elementary and secondary. So 2 meetings really a month. Does that answer?
That's great. Yes, thank you.
Nate, do you have a question?
Yeah. where do you think we get the biggest bang for our buck? I mean, I really appreciate everything that you guys have done. I've been so impressed since joining the board of how well we address our students who have, these special needs. And so my hat's off to you. But if we were going to allocate more money, what could we do that would help these students the most?
So, really great question. There's lots of ways I could answer that. I would say, in short, it's adding to the teacher's plate is not the answer to anything. However, ongoing professional development is critical. So giving time to teachers to make sure they know strategies, materials to make sure they can do the things we're asking them to do. So really, it's time and curriculum materials. Again, that looks so different though at every school. So I don't know if that really answered your question.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So across the state, they've been conducting the state offices. They commissioned a study from a group called the West Ed Group, and they're doing a study, and they're looking at going through those ears things and simplifying them in one sense, and they're sort of weighting really heavily towards just economically disadvantaged. If we just funded economically disadvantaged, all these other things would come across. And I sort of fought to keep English language learners in there as a separate add-on. Was that a mistake?
No, they are separate.
They're separate. Yeah. So it's like from our district, from like the girl that has deaf parents, let's say, they're not necessarily
correct.
Economically disadvantaged, but this is something that needed to be funded.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That is totally correct.
Even though it's not distributed in those ways, it's just how they determine how much money. It's good to keep that English language because there's enough differential in the correlation.
Absolutely,
is that correct?
Yeah. If they were the same, that would mean we wouldn't allocate to Rock Canyon, or Edgemont, which have quite a large number of EL students in their population. So yeah, separate is important.
Great, thanks.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you, and if you'll take a big thank you back to your team and say what an amazing job that you're doing, and keep up the great work.
I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good job, Michelle. Thank you.
All right, we have now come to the portion of public input. If you would like to address the board, on my right, your left, is a piece of paper down here that you need to fill out and hand it to Bonnie over here if you'd like to address the board. But if there's anyone that needs to do that, I'm going to call Eric Chase to speak to us, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, everybody. I had 3 minutes, so I'll keep it quick. I was watching the board meeting earlier, as Mr. Bryson mentioned. In regards to the sighting of Dixon, I appreciate that you guys want to keep gathering information, but it seems to me like you're ignoring the hardest information that anyone has for the past 3 years, and that's the results of the elections. The bond 2 years ago majorly failed everywhere in the city, and especially in West Provo. This last board member election, the only people that lost their elections worse than the ones that wanted to move it to Footprinters was the candidate that wanted to move it to Grandview. It's been 3 years, and the district has failed to make a compelling case to the community about why Dixon should be moved from its location now to the west side. The question, and having a series of meetings, I was at most of those meetings 2 years ago where you got 5 people to come to every elementary school on your tour. Moving Dixon again is just not going to fly in the community, and any bond that includes that is doomed to fail. Dragging on the debate about it is just it's harming the students, it's preventing us from finding the real solutions that we need to. If you are looking for more data, which I don't think we need, about the location of Dixon, if you want data about whether people want to preserve the historic portion, you should be partnering with the city and using their Open City Hall platform to ask that kind of question, and not the question about the location, because that question has already definitively been answered. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Jared Curtis. You get 3 minutes.
Okay. I won't need 3 minutes. I'm Jared Curtis from the Timpanogos area. And my comments are just how I understand something, and I don't know if it's true or not. I've tried to figure it out. But it's my understanding that this board has given a lot of power, a lot of their power, decision making, critical thinking, all of that to the county health department, with the policies that they make and say, oh, we're just going to do what they tell us. And that's giving a lot of influence and power to unelected bureaucrats in our system. It's power of the people. We elect you guys to make decisions, decide what values are important, what's actually scary, what risks we're willing to take, what values are important. Giving it away to someone who's an unelected bureaucrat is just taking away the parents' influences and the voters' influences, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we are going to move to our business part of the meeting. Just pull up my computer. Okay. All right. Policies, we're going to be approving policies. Stephanie, do you want to talk a little bit about these?
Yep. So real quickly, the edit to the policy 6010, which is general financial policy, was to include that all financial compliance will be met. That was in relation to adding a lengthy procedure for tax and disclosure compliance related to the bonds recently sold. I did update the recommended action per the discussion.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move that we approve policy 6010 with the changes we discussed in the study session regarding the fund balance descriptions.
Motion made by Board Member Partridge. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second by Board Member Bryson. Is there any other discussion on the policies or the motion? All right, seeing none. All those in favor, please indicate with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Okay, next one. The budget request and adjustments. Stephanie, if you would talk a little bit about that as well.
Just a quick review. We had 2 budget adjustments for 2 new grants. One is for Title I and one is for Title III. As you saw in Michelle's presentation, she went over one of them, maybe both of them. The motion is in the language and nothing was adjusted based on any discussion.
Okay, is there a motion on this?
I move we approve the budget request as discussed in study session.
Motion made by Board Member Hales. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Board Member Jensen. Is there any further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, vote with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Stephanie, would you talk about the large purchase requests?
Sure. So we have 4 large purchase requests coming from Tech. None of them include any budget increases. The budgets are already set and approved. So as Chad discussed, there's some needs for cell boosters and some security issues. And again, the language is in the motion and it has not been adjusted for any discussion.
Okay, is there a motion on this?
I move that we approve the large purchase request as discussed in the study session.
Motion made by Board Member Jensen. Is there a second?
I second that.
Second by Board Member Partridge. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, vote with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nay? All right, seeing none, it passes unanimously. Stephanie, again, would you talk about the Provo City RDA interlocal agreement?
Yep, so we have 4 RDA interlocal agreements tonight for the board to authorize. Keep in mind that these 4 interlocal agreements are the result of discussions that have happened probably for at least a 2-year period as the city's RDA brought us various projects. It just took them some time to gather up the information and finish up the local agreements. So it may appear as though the board is suddenly diving into a lot of RDAs, but these have been in discussion for quite some time.
Is there a motion on this?
I move we authorize the interlocal agreements with Provo City Redevelopment Agency.
Motion made by Board Member Jensen. Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Is there any further discussion about the motion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, seeing none, the motion passes unanimously. Next is the consent calendar. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I move we approve the consent calendar.
Motion made by Board Member Nielsen. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second by Board Member Bryson. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All right, seeing none, those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, it passes unanimously. All right, and we'll turn the time over to Board Member Jennifer Partridge.
All right, thank you. Well, for my report tonight, with it being our citywide kindness week, I thought I would give a report on our district aspect of Provo kindness. I think I'm getting the clicker here. Thank you. There we go. All right, so I just wanted to give a background especially for those who are newer on the board and such. So our Provo Kindness efforts started in the 2014-15 school year. We brought in an assembly called Rachel's Challenge that all of our schools received. And as part of that, the slogan for that is to start a chain reaction of kindness and compassion. And so all of our schools were challenged to create chain links, with each link representing a kind act that they noticed someone else doing. They had to find someone else doing good. And at the end of the year, we got together at the Provo High Stadium and had a big rally where we celebrated all of the acts of kindness. You can see there on the bottom right, we gathered all the students who came and had some fun celebration with that. Our picture there on the left is showing that we are still doing those types of things in our schools. This is from a few years later, that one of our schools continued to promote that very idea in the schools. So something that started then has continued. And one of the main things that came out of that is that we created kindness clubs in all of our schools. And kind of as Michelle said earlier tonight with how they approach things, kindness clubs have been the same thing. We allow, I shouldn't say allow, but each school gets to decide how a kindness club works best for them. And some schools jumped on board with it really quickly and were really enthusiastic and have really big kindness clubs. Others have decided to keep it a smaller group, that they have more student leaders doing it. So it looks a little different in every school. But the idea is that students are the ones who lead out in creating a culture of kindness and compassion within their school. There is an adult leader, and in most schools, that is the social worker. Some schools have maybe a PTA parent or another teacher who leads the club, but they still coordinate with the school social worker on efforts in the school. And of course, they are encouraged to involve the principal and things like that. The district has a kindness committee that includes board members and also Alex Judd, some of our social workers, and a couple PTA moms, and and as well as the representative from Generosity, which is Jimmer Fredette's foundation that supports us and helps us. What we do is we provide a retreat, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, every year. We give them t-shirts with a theme and give them resources that they can turn to as they support their clubs. So there's three purposes of the club. The first is that they have that they work on creating a school-wide culture of kindness, and so they pick different projects throughout the year. So the chain links or something similar like that they might choose to do. They might some of our schools will do maybe 3 times a year, like a big project that brings everybody together, focuses on kindness for a week or a month. Then the students who are in the clubs are also encouraged to have individual outreach. So as they leave their club meeting, and most clubs meet on a normal school year, this year is obviously different, but they meet weekly or twice a month. And they are encouraged to leave that club meeting with something in mind that they're going to do that week. Either reach out to an individual person that they have in mind, maybe someone they've noticed who is lonely, who sits by themselves at lunch or doesn't really play with people at recess. Or maybe instead they think, okay, this week I'm going to give 5 compliments a day. But they pick a goal and work to do things on their own to increase kindness around them throughout the week. And then at some club meetings, they'll have lessons on personal development and social emotional skills and things like that to help them continue to be leaders in their schools. So here's some pictures from some of our clubs. We got Provo High up there on the top, one of our elementary schools with the big heart. And the bottom left there was sent to me by Dixon a couple weeks ago, before they knew that the city theme for this year is Kindness Starts Here with a map pin. They had already picked it, which is awesome. So they have a bulletin board with these pins, and the students have said what they can do to have kindness starting right there with them. So getting the whole school thinking about those kinds of things. One of our schools, they have a big club of like 80 students, one of our elementary schools, and they meet in their gym once a month with all those students and do activities. That big picture there, I think they're making some notes to send to people. And then they also have student leaders who meet more often to plan some other activities. They do activities at lunch sometimes. A lot of our schools like to have a kindness week throughout the year, which is what you see on the top there. And the bottom there is Timpview's group. They call their club the Outreach Club. The last couple of years, they've divided into groups where they work as a group to pick projects that will help with things like inclusion and diversity in their schools. And then they present those ideas to the administration. And I hear it's been just a wonderful, wonderful thing there. So every year we provide a retreat in the fall, usually about October, to kick it off, and we bring all the students together, usually at the Provo Library. You can see Board President Hall there in the bottom picture, helping at our retreat. But it's a really great day because the kids get so excited. The students just love being there, and then we train them on ideas and the why behind what they're doing, and they leave really excited to make a difference. And then they go back to their schools, they meet with their principal with their ideas of what they want to do, and plan their year to create that culture in their schools. Along those lines with Provo Kindness are so many other aspects that the district was already doing or has been working on simultaneously, that just line up with the mission of everything. So I think it's all included. PBIS, which is Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports, that is something that all of our schools are working to implement, where they focus on the behaviors they want to see. Just like kindness, we don't want bullying, but instead of saying don't bully, we want to create kindness and inclusion. That's the same with our behavior with our students. And we've got great support in all of our schools. In fact, one of the people we awarded with an award tonight, Kathy Hansen, she helps lead that in our district and train our teachers and help them with that. And we see really good results with that. We have student success teams at every school. They meet regularly, usually once a week, and they talk about needs of individual students and how to support those students. And what I have loved, as was said earlier by Nate, about the more I learn about this district, is everybody is working so hard to care about the individual. It's not just about their academics. They're not just a number, they're not just a statistic on their test scores, but it is, how is the student, why are they struggling, what is going on at home? Let's reach out at home. We have family liaisons that will help work with the families, and they do what they can to support them in whatever way they can, not just the student, but the family, which I think is just so valuable. I think that's such a good thing that we have. We have a social emotional learning curriculum. SEL is the acronym there. A couple years ago, the social workers looked over a bunch of them and kind of came together and picked one that they thought was going to meet the needs of our district the best. And we have, some of our schools have started using it already. And I was talking with Alex today. He was telling me that some great stories already of teachers who have just seen the difference. They've taught for a long time, and using some of these lessons in their classroom has made such a huge difference. It's a calming influence and helps model the behaviors they want to see. And the ones who are using it in their classrooms regularly, daily, like 3 to 5 minutes sometimes. Other times they take a longer lesson that takes like 20 minutes. And then as other schools are ready to implement that, we have that there for them that they can. And I think one of the biggest things that helps with this and what makes our district stand apart is we now have social workers in every school. I was talking to a friend who lives in Orem the other day, and she had been able to interact with our social workers on some of this kindness things that we're doing. She was helping us with it, and she was telling me how lucky we are in Provo, that they don't have very many social workers in their district, and she wishes her students had those opportunities that come with that. Those social workers are able to look out for those students, as I talked about earlier with the teams. The social workers are right there to help when there are needs. We all know this year's been hard for so many. Social workers are equipped to help with the mental health of our students, our teachers, and I just want to thank our district for having the foresight to provide that resource that is so valuable. So there are good things happening in our district with kindness and with supporting our students, and I just want to thank everybody for all their hard work on that, and yeah, that's my report.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you for all your hard work you're doing with the Provo Kindness right now during the school city. So it's been fun to watch that on social media.
It's great to see what we've been doing with our schools starting to catch on with our whole community. So yes,
that's great. Thank you so much. Superintendent.
2 quick items. One is I did approve an in-state overnight trip that was for student leadership at Provo High School, and it will be one night at the end of May. The other item is also related to Provo High School. Athletic Director Mike Hunter, we just got word on Monday that Mike Hunter was selected as the State AD of the Year, Athletic Director of the Year, and so that's That's a big recognition for him and for Provo High School and for the district. So congratulations to Mike, and that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we've come to the end of our meeting, so is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Great, thank you.